Hey, what's up? Ian here and welcome back to my channel, and in this video I'm going to share with you guys my review for this Tinhifi C5 square planar plus 1BA IEM. Before I start, I'd like to thank HiFi for sending this to me, making this video possible. However, please note that everything I say in this video is my own opinion. This video is not scripted, and HiFi will be watching this video together with us. Right, so the Tinhifi C5 is now retailing for $79 US, and if you are interested, do check out the unaffiliated link in the description below. So as usual, I'll go through the accessories, the fit and comfort, the design and build quality, and of course I'll share with you guys my sound impression of this IEM, and also I will compare it with the Celeste Gumiho and the TRN Xuanwu. Okay, so please stick around for that one because I'm going to do that last. Okay, but don't worry, this video will be timestamped, so please feel free to skip around. Okay. Right, so let's start off with the accessories. Comes in a box like this, very standard box. It's got a picture of like a outer space kind of thing in the front. At the back, there's no specification, so let me just read that out to you. The impedance is 9 ohms, sensitivity is 101, and the frequency range is 10 to 20,000 hertz. And the driver for this, as I mentioned, is square planar and one balance armature. Okay, now inside the box you'll get paperwork, okay, and a pouch. So this is a fabric pouch. It will separate your iron from your coins, your keys, or any sharp objects, prevent it from being scratched, but it will not prevent your iron from being crushed by your foot or by your butt. Okay, so please take note of that. And then you have your ear tips, silicone ear tips. I'm not too sure why, but they provide 2 sets of each size. So you got small, medium, and large. 2 sets each. Right, so just one type of silicone ear tip. I mean, this is their standard Tinhifi ear tips, right? Silicone ear tips, very nice, can be used. Pretty reasonable, not very grippy, I would say, quite smooth, okay? But yeah, they got 2 sets of this, okay? And then foam tips, just one. Yeah, I would rather they give me a bit more foam tips than 2 sets of silicone ear tips. But I like their foam tips, okay? And then cable, right? Cable is a 4-core cable with a straight 3.5 headphone jack, right? And a Velcro strap, chin slider, and Y splitter, standard, okay? And then you have your ear hooks, which is also standard, quite soft as well, and a 2-pin connector. Right, so cable wise, they are okay for $79. But I wish it could be a better cable, but it's okay. I mean, it's a quality cable. Alright, right, so let's talk about the IEM itself. IEM is the build quality of this, very good. It's made of metal, the whole thing, as you can hear, made of metal. The design of this is very simple, right? It's like powder coated silver kind of thing, aluminum, yeah. And it's like matte finish, satin finish, very simple, rounded, like pill shaped type of IEM. Okay, the inner shell is also pretty standard, as you can see. The only thing weird is the nozzle. Nozzle is like oval shape. This is my first time I see IEM with oval shape. I've seen true wireless earbuds with oval shape, but first time I see IEM with oval shape with a metal filter on the inside. Okay. Right, so now let's talk about the fit and comfort. The fit and comfort, I would say, is okay. Fits me very well. In fact, it goes into my ear, very deep into my ear, right? And it's very comfortable to wear. And I can wear this to sleep. Very few I can wear to sleep. And this reminds me of the Blonde BL03, right? So yeah, very comfortable to wear. But the only thing is that seal, right? The seal, it goes very deep. It's just that the seal doesn't stay very long, so when I'm moving around it does dislodge from my ear canal, and then I have to reseal it, and that's the annoying part lah. But that's about it. Very comfortable to wear. It's an odd fit, but it's comfortable. Okay. Right, so now let's talk about the sound. So let me just bring out my graph. Okay, so this is the graph for the C5, and now before I talk about the graph, let me just go through the technicalities of this first. Now the price, the performance of this. So as I mentioned, this is $79 US. In my opinion, this is a bit overpriced. And as you know, I'm going to compare with the Celeste, Gamiho, and the Xuanwu. The Xuanwu is the cheapest of the bunch, but in terms of the price, this is the most expensive. So there's a lot of competition. I mean, it's not a lot, it's two, but there are competitions out there. So I think the pricing for this is a little bit too high. I mean, the only appealing part about this is, of course, the tuning, but the tuning is not very different from the other two. So yeah, it's a little bit overpriced in my opinion. Okay, but the tuning is very good, right? So now let's talk about the technicalities of this. So soundstage is actually wide, reasonable size of the soundstage, good height as well, and good separation of the sound, and also good imaging. So no problems with that. The detail retrieval, on the other hand, because of the tuning it's nothing to do with the quality of the driver. The details being retrieved, right, I find that it's a little bit lacking. So I still can hear some nuances in the background. I can pick up some guitar plucking and all kind of things, but it's not the best, of course, because of the tuning. Okay, but resolution on this is fantastic. So I would say for the price that it's asking for, it still produces sound that is above its price point. It's just that it's not as competitive as the other two, as you know. Okay, so that's for the technicalities. In terms of the tone and timbre on this is warm, it's casual, it's fun type of tone, it's heavy. Yeah, so in terms of the tone and timbre for this is, it's a casual kind of tuning lah. So as you can see, this is a V-shaped, so it's not going to be an analytical, thin, light, lean type of tone and timbre for this type of listening experience. Okay. Right, so now let's talk about the tuning for this. So the sound signature, as I mentioned, is V-shaped. The sub bass is elevated. In fact, the bass is elevated, and then your treble is also elevated, which leaves your mids to be recessed and veiled by both of them. Okay, so based on this tuning, right, you can hear a lot of bass. That's why it's fun. You hear quite a bit of the treble, so that makes it a bit more engaging. So yeah, very typical V-shaped tuning. That's why I say it's quite a competitive feel. It's not just these two IEMs. There's a lot of other IEMs there that has got this very typical tuning, which is V-shaped. So competition is really, really hot in this category. Okay, especially at this price point, $79. You really need to have a very good selling point to get people to buy this. I would say, I mean, one thing good about this is, of course, the quality of it, right? And also the shape of it, is a lot of factors lah, all right? Not just the tuning, but the tuning is also pretty good. Okay, sub bass. Sub bass has got good extension. So one thing I like about the sub bass is that the extension is really good. Good resonance of the sub bass is warm, heavy, and is engaging type of sub bass. So toe tapping type of rumble and sub bass. So very good sub bass. Mid bass is also elevated. Good presentation, good punch, impact is there. Warm as well. So overall listening experience for this in terms of bass, very engaging. Okay. Mids is veiled, right, as I mentioned. So instruments, they sound recessed, but not to a point whereby you can't hear them, of course. You still can hear them, they are just not as detailed, right? It's not as detailed as other IEMs. So for this, in terms of detail retrieval from these instruments, they're okay. So yeah, this is actually expected from this type of tuning. Okay, vocals, male vocals and female vocals, they sound pretty good, right? It's got that warm presentation and that musical type of presentation to me. And yeah, I actually feel quite engaged when I'm listening to both the male and the female vocals. The male vocals got good authority, the female vocals got good energy and good engagement. So vocals in general on this IEM sounds pretty good. Okay. Now for the treble, so treble, right, I find that it's just nice, right? It's a very safe tuning for the treble. The gain to the treble is also pretty engaging, pretty energetic. The brightness is not too bright, not too dark. In fact, it's a bit on the darker side, but it's not very dark. But it's a good balance in terms of the bite and the brightness and the roll-off. But in terms of the roll-off, right, this is where I find that it's a little bit too early, and the air of it is a bit too short. Okay, there's not much air, so I find that my cymbal strikes, hi-hats, they do have that presence, but it's just that the extension of it is a little bit rolled off, okay, and a little bit short. So snares, especially, you know, the tapping of the snares, I find that it's a bit unnatural. Okay, but that's just about it. I mean, the rest of the treble, right, I find it's a pretty safe tuning for the treble. Alright, so in conclusion, this actually is a pretty safe tuning, V-shaped, fun, casual listening type of experience. And the genre that's suitable for this is trance, techno, hip-hop, heavy metal, those kind of genre of music. But if you want something more analytical, more detailed listening experience, like for classical orchestras, those kind of instrumental, then maybe this will not be as good as some other IEMs lah. But it will still play back nicely, right? It's just that it's not gonna be as detailed. Okay, and yeah, do I recommend this? Well, in terms of sound quality, yes, I do. But in terms of price, the performance, I mean, it depends. I mean, it's $80. It's not cheap. In fact, it's more expensive than the other two, which I'm going to talk about now. Okay, so yeah, this is for the C5. So let's compare with the Celeste, Gumiho, and Shenwu. Let me bring out their graphs. Okay, so these are the graph for the three IEMs. The Tinhifi C5 is green. Shenwu is the red color one, the red color line, and then your Gumiho is the blue line. Okay, so let's first talk about the overall technicalities, right? The three of them, they sound pretty similar in terms of the quality of the sound stage, the detail retrieval. Maybe the Celeste has a bit more details being presented, but yeah, that's just about it. So overall, the resolution of this tree is actually pretty comparable. But the tuning, right? The tuning for this, in terms of the sub bass, what I hear, the C5 has got a more engaging sub bass, a more engaging bass, okay, and it's got a better extension of that bass. So that's what I hear. But it's not by a lot. If you look at the Celeste compared to the C5, it's only about maybe 5 dB difference. I mean, 5 dB is actually a lot, but in terms of the range, alright, is not a lot lah. Okay, so for me, I would say in terms of the really want to nitpick, I would say the C5 has got a better extension for the rumble, that earth-shaking rumble. And then for the mid bass, not much difference for the tree. The lower mids, as you can see. Oh, by the way, I always normalize my graph at 1000 Hertz. Okay, so for the tree, right, in terms of mids, not much difference. It's only the treble, right? The difference is the treble. So in terms of the gain to the treble, the peanut gain, the Shenwu has got the most forward, most harsh, I would say, type of gain, right? So as you can see, the red line here is more than the other two. Okay, the least gain, alright, I would say, is the Celeste Gumiho, and the most balanced one out of the two is the C5. Okay, and then the brightness of the treble, the C5 has got the brightest. Alright, even though it's still dark, right? It's still got a dark type of presentation, but it's still the brightest of the three, and it's got a more energy as compared to the other two. Okay, the most energy as compared to the other two. Right, so let's talk about the mid treble, right? So this is where the sibilance is, right? And sibilance is also affected by the coupler. So the artifact of my coupler, the thing is, I listen to this tree using my ears, not my coupler. But looking at the graph, it does relate to what I hear, right? So in terms of the Celeste Gumiho, it's got that sibilance there. It's the most, I would say, prominent, most audible in terms of sibilance. And then the Xuanwu is okay, is not as sibilant as the Celeste, especially the S and the T. You know, when I listen to songs that has got S and T, this is the most obvious. The C5 is just nice. I don't really hear that sharpness, right, for the C5. Now, for the air, okay, this is where the C5 has got the least air and a more boxed-in type of treble as compared to the other two, and most unnatural in terms of the comparison to the other two. So yeah, it's a bit rolled off too early compared to the Celeste and the Xuanwu. I think the most air I would say is the Xuanwu. It's got most openness in terms of the air, from what my ears tell me. Okay, so, and also the Celeste. In fact, the air for the Celeste is also pretty good. So in terms of this three, right, I would put it in this order. Okay, the top will be here and the bottom will be here. Alright? Right, so that concludes my overall review of this Tinhifi C5. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video, and if you did, please give this video a thumbs up, and also please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Right, so that's it for now. Thank you so much. I hope you guys have a great day ahead, and I'll see you again in my next review. Cheers.